Welcome back. My name is Oscar and I am the Ambitious Tech Developer. And we will actually be covering Chapter 10 in the Object-Oriented Thought Process. It's a very good book, highly recommended. Been learning a whole lot. Okay, so Chapter 10 is actually creating object models. In this chapter, we're actually just going to learn how to represent the object-oriented concepts using the UML diagram language. Okay, this chapter will give you a quick review of the Unified Modeling Language. I can't even talk. UML is helpful when you are trying to visualize how you would design a system. This chapter will only be covering the concept we've learned in order to be able to visualize what we want to build. I would strongly recommend picking up a book or two on UML. And actually, I will be creating 2 more lessons dedicated to UML. At least I'm hoping for 2, if not 1, but I do have 2 more books that I want to get into, and I will probably end up doing a blog on it. Okay, so what is UML? The UML user guide defines UML as a graphical language for visualizing, specifying, constructing, and documenting the artifacts of a software-intensive system. UML allows you to create a blueprint of the system you are trying to build. It is great to draw a roadmap and allows you to solve problems before you even write a line of code. Awesome. So that's basically the whole concept of not just UML, but software architecture, right? The main point is to actually draw a roadmap of what we will be coding before we actually even start coding, right? It solve a lot of problems before we even get started. Okay, so structure of a class. I will be using this in a little while, but for this structure of a class, I actually just want you guys to look at the screen. Okay, the class diagram is a box separated horizontally in 3 parts. The top part is the name of the class. The middle part is the attribute of the class, and the bottom part is where the constructors, destructors, and methods will go. Okay, so simple enough, right? Just because I want to do something. Okay, so UML, name of the class. ATTR for attributes of the class, right? And the bottom is the methods of the class. Simple enough? Great. Attributes and methods. Attributes and methods begin with a plus sign or a minus sign. A plus sign means it is public. A minus sign means it is private. And if it does not have a sign, it means that by default is protected. Okay, so this is basically the way it falls in Java. I'm not completely sure how it is in other languages, but protected is actually another keyword that basically means that the property is only accessible by code in that class or struct or in a derived class. Okay, so a class that is inherited, right? So this attribute, we talked about private, right? So we want to try to keep our attributes private. So it would be a minus sign, right? So that would be private. Plus would be public. So this would be a what? Public interface. Remember, that's what other objects can instantiate. So plus sign, public, minus sign, private. Neither, if it's empty, protected. Okay. Attributes and methods also end with a colon and the type of data which it will output. If it is a function, it will be void. So for example, attribute. Attribute will be a string, so it have a colon, or a double colon, whatever that thing's called, the 2 dots, and a string. So this is basically telling us that this attribute, named attribute, will have a string in it, right? That's the type of data that it's holding. As for method, that would be void. It's going to be an action, right? Methods can also show parameters that will be passed to them, but it is not required, and using them all boils down to preference. So what do they mean by this? Okay, so this basically means that instead of having a method just like this, you are capable of having. Now, of course, this would be within here, right? Okay, P1 for parameter 1, parameter 2, and then the double colon void. And since this is a private, I'll have a minus. So that's basically what that means. It basically means that a method can also have, you can actually pass parameters to it, right? You still have to follow the concept of having two dots, the colon, and the output of it, either what is integer, it's integer, boolean, string, so on and so forth, right? So that's basically how you represent a class in UML. Next is inheritance. Inheritance is represented by an arrow with a white center point pointing to the class that is being inherited. Okay, so this class is name, it's inherit, okay, whatever. So this class, well, let's just start with a new class. New class, new class, new class. Okay, cool. So we'll go with, now this is going to be very simple, okay? I'm not going to go, like I said, too much detail into this, right? Human. Now, this is inheritance per Bob, right? Bob, Billy Bob, whatever. Okay, so inheritance basically this is represented with inheritance. Perfect. Arrow, white tip. Interface. Interfaces are represented with an arrow with a striped line pointing to the class which it will be receiving the interfaces. Okay, so human is nameable, right? And how another is going to be an interface. Remember what an interface does, right? It only passes methods, not attributes, methods to classes. So right here we're going to put I swear, I write better in paper. Okay, nameable. A human is nameable. He already has a name, Bob. Whatever. Let's ignore the whatever. Dash line. Right? So this is inheritance. And then this is interface. Perfect. Aggregation. Aggregations are represented with a line with a diamond at the end. It's pointing at the superclass. Aggregations are represented with a line with the diamond pointing at the superclass. Okay, so, Bob, human, you know what? Aggregation, human. What are humans built on? Arms, legs, limbs, right? So, aggregation, I don't know, let me check if you guys can see this. Okay, you guys will be able to see. I'll just put it right here, whatever. We'll make a mess. Another class called arm. Not the best examples, but whatever, right? So aggregation. Oh, that's not a good idea. Aggregation. So it's a diamond at the end. Okay? So that's basically what it is. Aggregation. Okay, so basically what that is human is nameable, human has an arm, and then Bob is a human. Right? Awesome. Association. Ooh. Association is represented with a solid line without any arrows or shapes at either end. Okay, so a human, an association for a human. Car, right? Right? Right, guys? Right? Car, sword, whatever a human can use, right? Right? So this is basically association. Now, probably not the best example, but the point here is association is this, right? So human can have a car. A car, I guess, cannot have a human, but whatever. You guys know what I mean, right? I don't know. Whatever. Okay, cardinality. Now, this is something that we talked about. Cardinality is represented by a letter or variable and or number near relationship symbols. Relationship symbols will be these. I don't know why I like making that. Right? The number on the left end of the two dots represents the maximum number allowed. Okay, and obviously I forgot to put it that one on the right represents the minimum. Okay, so interface. Human can have one name, so that would be just what? One. Well, technically human cannot have a name, but we're not going to get into technicalities. So, one. Minimum of one name. Human has to have a minimum of one name, right? But, whatever, since it's an interface, basically, that human needs to implement that method that name was passing to it. And aggregation, human arms, okay? Now, we're just going to talk about humans in general, okay? So, humans have to have 2 arms, right? So, but some people are born without arms. Okay, so we're going to put 0.2. So you could have 0 to 2 arms, right? Now, Bob. Well, that's no cardinality. That's just whatever, right? Right? Car association, same thing. But point is, this would be cardinality, and it is represented with the minimum number or variable on the left end and the maximum at the right end. So it would be n dot dot. Okay, 0 dot dot n would be 0 too many. 1 dot dot n, 1 too many. You guys get it. 2 dot dot n, whatever. Now if it's, and that's it. I forgot, channel thought, lost it, whatever. I'm okay with it. Are you okay with it? Fine. So that's basically it. That's basically all for this course. Okay, so that's basically it for this course. That was actually chapter 10. It probably took longer than I should have, but I felt like I needed to do all that stuff to get you guys to see and understand it. Okay, so that's it for this chapter. Make sure you tune in next week. We're gonna have chapter 11 and 12. We'll do 2 at a week. I'll see you guys then. Peace.